The question is on page 68. It's a question that was tested in September 2015. September 2015 as question number 5A. And the question is on life cycle costing. Life cycle costing methods. Life cycle costing method. Now, this is simply a method that tries to capture all the costs that a product incurs throughout its life cycle, and also attempts to come up with the prices that should be charged at the various stages of the life cycle of the product. So that is how the method works. And it is broadly divided into two approaches. There is an approach that combines everything throughout the life, and there is also an approach that goes periodically. So are you wondering where page 68 is, or what is the order, Kista? Okay. So if there is no more order, Joyce, you can read for us part A of that question.
Then complicated planning to introduce a new product. Market research information suggests that the product should sell 100,000 units over its life cycle at a price of 20 per unit. The company seeks to make a markup of 40% of product cost. Life cycle cost of the product will be as follows. Required, the life cycle cost per unit. Roman 2, the product cost there. Roman 3, the management accountant estimates that if the company spends additional of 1 million shillings on design, the manufacturing cost per unit would be reduced. Compute the maximum manufacturing cost per unit that will be tolerated if the company was to plan the required markup. To manage cost effectively, the company should emphasize on cost management at the planning and design stage. Explain decisions that can be made at the planning and design stage, which can affect the cost of production and the cost structure.
Thank you, that's good. So the first thing is we are told to get the life cycle cost per unit. So the life cycle cost per unit, life cycle costs per unit is equal to total life cycle costs. You divide by total life cycle units. Life cycle units. So in this case, we are going to add those millions. If we just add straight to the way they are given, you can see the fixed costs. They are what? They are 5, 10, and 4. That is 19 million. You can see that. Can you see the 19 million? When you add the 3 of them, yes. Then plus there is some variable of 200. That 200 is coming from 50, 60, 60, and that. This one you multiply by the number of units that are involved. The units that are involved, they are 100,000. They are 100,000. And then you divide by 100,000. So that gives us Kenya shillings. $390. So that is the cost of one unit throughout the life of that product. Number two, we are told to get the cost gap. So yesterday we said that cost gap is given as target costs minus actual costs. Target cost minus actual cost. And I told you the sign does not matter. You can as well start in actual minus the target, whichever you want. Then how do we get the target costs? We said yesterday that target costs is supposed to be equal to market price you minus desired profit. You minus desired profit. It is the market price minus the desired profit. So this then becomes the target price is what? Tumesema ni 420. And we are told that they have what? A markup of 40%. Now, markup is profit that is expressed in terms of costs. So when you have the price, you must convert it to margin. So the conversion is like this. When you're told it is 40%, for you to make it to be margin, what you do, you add the numerator. So we are going to add 40. And we are adding because cost is smaller than price. So if you are in cost and you want to go to price, then you must add. But kama ungekuwa kwa margin and you want to go to cost or to convert it to markup, you subtract. And remember, I told you most students think that you add or subtract one. That is wrong. It's only because most of the ratios the numerator is one. But the concept is you add or subtract the numerator. Sasa hii you multiply na 420. So this becomes 420 minus. Kwanza nipatie hii, we may require it later on. Then to welcome, and the link is normally sent to the main group. So if you're not in the main group, you should let me know. Otherwise, at times they may not send to the special group. 120. So the target cost is what? 300. And therefore, our cost gap is 300 minus the actual cost of what? 390. So that gives us a gap of what? Minus 90. You can either put it as negative, you can ignore the negative, whichever you prefer. But now what we can see is that the actual is more than the target. We are being too good to our customers, which is saying is not good. All right. The next thing is the management accountant estimates that if the company spends additional 1 million on design, the manufacturing cost per unit could be reduced. Compute the maximum manufacturing cost per unit that would be tolerated if the company was to earn the required markup. What that means is we will still earn the same profit. And maybe we need to begin by saying, we know that if you are looking for profit, it must then be revenue, you minus what? Costs. It must be revenue minus cost. So the question says, we still need to make the same amount of profits. So in making the same amount of profits, we are going to approach it from a total perspective. Total perspective, because you can see this cost. Now 19, these are totals. The fixed costs are given in totality. So we are not able to get them per unit. So if that be the case, we will say here we know currently we are making a profit of 100 and what? 20 per unit. And we are desiring to make and sell 100,000. So at the end of the day, this is the profit that will be made. Now this profit will have come from a revenue of our selling price is 420, and we are selling 100,000 units. Now minus the cost. So angalia hapa ndio sipote. The cost kuna hii 19 million. So unakumbuka venye tulipata. So there is that 19 million. Then wanasema watailika another 1 million. So that 1 million bado itakuja hapa ikiwa cost. Now the question is to say the variable cost will be how much per unit. Now in the previous working tulikuwa tumepewa what? 200. Sasa hiyo 200 ndio haijulikani. So tutakuja hapa tuseme it is 100,000 V. So V is the variable cost per unit. So kutoka hapo utupande nipatie variable. We have gotten the answer. V is what? 100. Good. The next question says, to manage cost effectively, the company should emphasize on cost management at the planning and design stage. Explain decisions that can be made at the planning design stage, which can affect the cost of the product and reduce the cost gap. What were we first of all? When the first cost was so is that this one? I think it's variable cost. Which were given? Which one? That's one. So my argument was after getting between 100, we now go back to the lifecycle thereafter. But by now we have instead of 19, now we have 20 million plus 100 times 100,000. Divide 100. Sasa unaona hapo juu mahali tulipata kina 50, 60, 60, 30. Yes. They are together called manufacturing cost per unit. Now, any cost that is given per unit, the other name for it is variable cost. The other name is variable cost. Then, if you look at the words of this question, they are saying compute the maximum manufacturing cost per unit. So yenye tulikuwa tunatafuta ni ile sasa itakuwa incurred instead of 200 ndio bado to maintain the profit. So hii swali tushamaliza. Yes. Yes, it's only that I've used the letter V to represent the variable cost per unit, but we were now going to look for the new value of 200. Yes. Sasa, the question is asking us how we can reduce the cost. Now, this one, you can just give one sentence as the answer. You just reduce your cost. Because tumeona the actual here, this one, is more than the target. So you must look for ways of moving this cost from 390 to 300. It's as simple as that. You reduce the cost. But if you want to justify why you should be given the format, you can now go item by item. Like number one, you can tell us, we look at the, now in terms of the design, you can still say we look at the design, but you can also say we look at the functionalities of the product. Look at number one. We look at the functionalities of the product. The functionalities of the product. And remove the less important. And remove the less important. What we mean by that, I don't know whether I do that the other day. You can do some manipulations in the product, and the customer does not know that you are shortchanging them or you are reducing the cost. You see, in a school like this one, there is a school fees that you pay. You may not know how we arrive at that school fees, but assume that a major component or one of the components of that school fees is the library rent or the library value. So what we need to do is to ask ourselves, how many of our students really go to the library? Unaweza pata hakuna. Kama kwa hii class, mtu anaenda library? Sometimes, but once in a while. So unaweza kaa, hata kuna watu wako hawajui library iko wapi. Hawajui library iko wapi, lakini wao ni wanafunzi wa destiny and are satisfied. Si ndio? Hawana shida. So ukigundua they are satisfied na hawana shida, funga hiyo library. Because it will not affect them. Because even when it was there, they never knew it or they never used to use it. So tukifunga hiyo library, si cost yetu itaenda chini. So we can now even be able to reduce our school fees. Something else is like to send his lifts. To reason how many people use the lifts. I know hapo kila mtu. Sasa hiyo lift wezi uza. Then you go check something else. How many people use that? And then unaenda, what you find it is not very popular, unangoa. Kitu kama hii simu, hii simu we use it for many functionalities. Kuna wale wanatumia ku SMS, kuna wale wanatumia kupiga simu, the voice, kuna wale wanaitumia kuchukua pictures, kuna wale wanatumia internet. So you design a questionnaire, unapea kila customer, unamuuliza out of the total time unatumia simu yako, what proportion unatumia kwa SMS, kwa voice, kwa internet, kwa photos and so on, even as a calculator. Ukigundua kitu kama calculator haitumiki, like now when last you use your phone for calculation, you rarely use it. When last did you use your phone to take a video, not a photo, video? You rarely use it. But almost every day unatumianga voice na SMS, na maybe internet. Sasa hiyo mambo ya calculator na hiyo mambo ya video uingoe, manufacturer wa simu aingoe. Na akiingoa wewe hutajua imengolewa, utafikirianga tu ni ile simu ya kawaida. Because even wakati ilikuwa haukuwa unafanya nini? So that's what we mean by looking, and then you do away with that which is less important. Yes. The other thing is, and that's the same concept I was telling you yesterday. You look at your finances. Yes, there are some things which you can do away with, na maisha yako ikae more or less the same. More or less the same. Kutakuwa na inconvenience kidogo hapa na pale, but more or less the same. Uko tu sawa. The other thing that we can look at is marketing. We can say reduce marketing and distribution costs. Reduce marketing and distribution costs. Marketing and distribution costs. Naona kama kitambo, a school like this one, tulikuwa tuna advertise in newspapers. Unachukua kale ka advert kadogo kanaekangwa kwa gazeti. Those days it used to be around 110,000. So maybe it would be around 150,000. But nowadays, badala ya kutumia hiyo, tumeingia kwa social media. Social media, you just design a advert, unarusha kwa Facebook. Zinaenda almost cost free. Yes. Although now you also need to answer the question of how many people it reaches. Here, social media, na ile ya gazeti. Those are things that you need to look at. Something else is you can reduce materials costs. Reduce materials costs. So kwa material, there are two possibilities. One, unaweza angalia the supplier. Nani huwa anakusupply? You talk to the supplier, apunguze bei. Number two, if the supplier hawezi kupunguza bei, check whether you can change the quality. Badala ya kutumia kitu very expensive, kutumia kitu a bit cheap. Something else is reduce labor costs. Reduce labor costs. And labor costs, I told you, is the most flexible for the employer. Ukisukuliwa na cost kwa biashara, one of the easy targets to focus on is labor. You only need to look at your workforce. Uangalie wale wamekaa sana, wenye wana earn more, how unatoa, unaajiri fresh graduates. So kama mtu ashafikisha mshahara ya 100,000, unamtoa, unaajiri watu wengine wawili, kila mtu wa 15,000. And more or less they will do the same job. You're doubting. Ni kweli, I had said earlier on, kutakuwa na two inconveniences. Obviously, if you replace me in this class and bring someone who is last semester, it cannot be the same. But somehow huyo mtu bado atafunza. That's all. Let's be somehow huyo mtu atafanya nini? Atafunza. Yes. And itaroa what? Costs. Like there is a young man we are training and we normally train. Sasa huyo nikimpea notes zangu, mwambie enda ufunze. He will teach. Even as that is how you are trained. Even you people where you are, most likely, hizo maripoti unaandikanga. Unaandika unapelekea boss wako. So kama boss hayuko, hiyo kazi itafanyika tu. That's what you mean. So kama huyo boss analipa 150 na huyu mwenye ametengeneza report unamlipa 80. Toa boss. Huyu wa report muongezee 10,000. 90,000. Akuwa analipwa 90. Na atafurahi sana. And work will somehow still be done. Though not to the level, but somehow it will still be. That's the first thing. But you know, most of the private companies they work with very young. Asian, even this banking industry. Look at some of the banks. You go to some banks, especially in Equity. This kina cooperative bank, kina KCB, those ones kama hawajakiwa sana. But like Equity Bank, you go there and you get the usad, unashangaa kama hata kumaliza. Yeah, 2 years. Sasa huyo ukimpea kama mshahara ya 10,000, amefurahi. Si yakula madazi hapa na pale. Lakini mtu kama mimi ukinipea 10,000, I already have fixed obligations kwa nyumba yangu. The other thing is, you can use, although that is not a good method. Ni ile ya kuita watu wakufanyie kazi, unawaahidi utawalipa, You just call a guy, unamwambia sasa leo ni tarehe moja. Kama leo ni tarehe moja, namwambia nimekuajiri na mshahara wako ni 20,000. Na nitakuwa nakulipa tarehe 5. Jamaa anachapa kazi, mwezi inaisha. Ikifika tarehe 5 next month, unamwambia ngoja kidogo, HR ni kama kuna kitu hawajaharmonize documents. So ikifika tarehe 9, unampea 2,000, unamwambia bado HR wana harmonize. So wanasukuma nayo mpaka tarehe 17. Akikuja kupiga makelele tena, unamrudishia 3,000, unamwambia sasa ngoja hiyo balance, si kumebaki balance ya 15,000. Tutakulipa April sasa together with hiyo ingine. Sasa akiona 35,000, anafurahi na anatulia. Anangoja. Ikifika hiyo tarehe, the story begins. Yeah? It's none of your business. How he pays or how he lives, even how he comes to work, is none of your business. Bora wewe anakuja kazi na anafanya. Obviously now itafika mahali akwana. Because atakuja alikopa, wanamdai, sasa atakuja na hasira kwa ofisi. Akutukana. Akisha kutukana, you just fire. By the time unamfuta, maybe you are supposed to have paid him 8, usha kulipa only 20. So una save what? 60. Unaita mwingine. Naye anakuja amefurahi anapata kazi. The cycle. Those things are there. But that is not very good, at least from where I sit. But there are people who are doing that. So what we have said there is now the opposite of what you do. Kama sasa hii target ingekuwa kubwa ya the opposite, the opposite of that. Wani hata wenye wako kwa tenda business, una supply mtu material na they never pay you. Hawashatumia material zako. What do you do? Hawasha supply. No, government finally they will pay. And then yes. Then government has a history of ever been nyang'anya lingine wane. 2015. But it happens even in the universities. Even in the universities, there is this thing called financial engineering. Universities are private, so well. Unaenda unafunza, unakaa miaka 5 bila kulipa. Yes, I have colleagues I know. Yes, unakaa kabisa, and now the catch inakuanga hivi. Ushafunza, you know, at the university, the evidence that you have taught is the results of the students. So lazima ufunze mpaka wanafunzi wakalie mtihani ndio upeleke results to the Senate. That's the evidence that you have taught. So hiyo semester yote unafunza. Sasa unaanza semester 2, ukigoja utalipwa hii. Inaisha hujalipwa. Unaingia semester 3, bado unaambiwa ngoje. Sasa unakuwa in a dilemma. Ukiacha kufunza, they will accuse you of deserting the job. So unakaa tu hapo ukivumilia, utalipwa siku moja. Before you know it, miaka 5, miaka 6 imeisha. And people are seriously struggling. Let's go to this question of page 34. Page 34, November 2018. Unaona hii concept ya kupangwa Edman. Do you know it is also wrong? Kwa nini uwekewe mshahara yako? Kama sasa leo mimi nikimaliza kufunza wanastahili badilika. Tumalizane. A sharing today is better than a sharing? Yes. Sasa hiyo ya 1 month, your some institutions wana extend na scale ifika 1 year. And why it is so is because an employee is so weak, you have no bargaining power. So what if you watch a 1 month part in a quarter? If you are 1 year, but kama nimefanya kazi tunamalizana hapo. Sasa kuna hiyo swali, si unaiona? Question 4B is on life cycle. Costing. So we have that data, and because I think that's from although it is very direct. The requirement we are told to do there to get the life cycle. As I said earlier, in maswali ya life cycle, there are 2 categories. Kuna ile ina combine. Like now the one that you it has combined different. You have worked with totals. Sasa hii yenye tuko nayo, you can see it is already subdivided. Yeah, it is periodical. So let's make a table. Details. One, 2, 4. I divide into 5. That window was bringing a lot of noise.
All right. Let's go to the next activity.
So we have details there. Then we have 1st January 2018. 1st January. Oh, there are 3. I need to have 4. Have 4. Okay. Then let me draw again. Because I need for the we need 5, eh? 5. I need 5. So I have a column called details. Then I have 1st January 2018. I have that 1st of December 2018. I have that 1st of December 2019. And then that 1st of December 2020. We can seek to have our figures in we can have them in thousands. We can have our figures in thousands. So the first item is research costs. Research costs. So research cost in 1st of January is 850.4. 850.4. On that 1st of December, it is 200. 200 there. The other periods do not have research. We don't have research. We go to the next one, production costs. Production costs. Now, this production cost, first of all, we have the variable. We have the variable. The variable per unit in the first year is 100. Now, unaona huko chini, the number of units that were produced, they were 20. So here, it will be 100 times 20. So that gives us what? 2,000. 2,000. Can see that, eh? In 2019, the variable cost is 80. And the number of units, the production units, they are also 20. So that is 1,600. 1,600. In the last year, it is 90. And the number of units are also 20. So that gives us 1,800. 1,800. Then we have fixed. Fixed in the second year, it is 500. It's 500. Or is 500 everywhere? 500. Then tuende kwa huyu mwingine anaitwa marketing. Marketing costs. Marketing costs. Now, marketing cost, we have variable. Variable. So the variable is 12 in the first case. So it is going to be 12 times 20. That gives us what? 240. 40. In the second year, it is 8. So 8 times 20 is what? 160. The next one is 10. So 10 times 20 is 200. 10 times 20 is 200. The next one is fixed. So fixed in the first year, it is 200. This is 200. The other year is 150. And then we have 100. Then we go to distribution costs. Distribution costs. Distribution cost, we have fixed. The fixed is 120 everywhere. 120, 120, 120. Then we go to disposal. Disposal costs. Disposal cost. Disposal, it is a fixed commission 300. 300. So that is all. So let's get the total costs. The total costs. Hii ya kwanza ni 850.4. The second one, that's 260. Next, 25. 30. That 20. PVIF factor. PVIF. The PVIF, we have 1. We have 0.89. We have 0.871. Then present value. Present value. So this one is 850.4. That is when you multiply. Huyo mwingine when you multiply 2901.4. Huyo mwingine 2024. Then 44.2. So ukishapata hiyo Life cycle cost per unit. Life cycle unit costs. Life cycle unit costs is 850.4 plus 2901.4 plus 2024 plus 2144.2. You divide by 20 plus 20 plus 20. One, that's two. Then from there, now we are told to do what? The question was, evaluate the life cycle cost per unit. So you have to sharp up. Unit one, that's two. The other one is comment on the target price by the marketing director and suggest ways of reducing any cost gap. So the cost gap that is there, the marketing director had said, the marketing director believes that customers could only pay shillings 120 per unit, but the finance director believes this will not cover all the projected costs throughout the product life cycle. So there is a gap of 132 minus 120. There is a cost gap of what? 12. So because the customers are willing to pay 120, it means we must look for ways of moving this cost from 192 to go at least to 120, if not more. Because as at now, when we sell at this point, you will be making a loss. We have incurred 192, but our customers are only willing to pay 120. So lazima uipunguze hata kama huta make profit at least if you go 120 so that you don't incur loss. So reducing that is exactly like what we have suggested in the other question. So you simply come back to your cost items. Unaangalia one by one. Hii variable cost, what can we do about it? Hii fixed cost. Fixed cost could include things such as rent. Unajiuliza, can I hammer from this place to another place? If your business is around Moyameni, na rent ya Moyameni, can you go to Liverpool? Can you go to Ghana? Can you go elsewhere? You check on those things. Can you even reduce your size? If you have a whole floor, can you reduce one kind of? If you have 10 floors, can you reduce to 2 floors? All those things. Yeah, but they are not as easy as I am bringing them out. There is a lot of mathematics you have to do. And one of them is how many of your customers come to you because of your location? And how many come to you because of your human resource? For example, in this class, we need to ask ourselves, how many of you are here because destiny is in this building? And how many of you are here because of humanity? So that tukisema tumehamisha destiny kutoka Moyameni tumeenda Liverpool. Wale wako hapa sababu ya Kimani au wataenda mpaka because them is not the location but the teacher. But those who are here, whether Kimani is there or not there, They are here because of the location. Ukihama uende hata Tongwa atakwambia sisi hatuendi hata Tongwa. Sisi ni watu wa Moyale. So you need to check so that you don't have to move. Yeah. So nafikiria hiyo iko sawa. Kulingana na mimi hiyo maswali inakuanga rahisi. But maybe to confirm, si ujaribu kutuanga hii ya 826. Niona. 826. 826. Kuna swali liletwa ya November 2019. November 2019 as question 5A. Question 5A.
Sasa wewe ndio kesho unakosa kuingia class.
And the international the last resource.
Kufanya total costs. Umeshafanya ya kwanza. Umeadd ya kwanza hii ya one. Na kutoka na umeweka niambie kama nafanya vitu zangu. Yes. Sawa. Sisi wote tunaweza kupata. Nafanya vitu zetu.
But then after a while, it will be allowed that people can use it. Why? Because it's
We are through? Okay.
and performance and control. And it is Paris. This one tells us. Literally one. Literally one. The next one. Use one. I will do one. I will do one. Visual one. Sound recording. Sound recording. And broadcast. Okay, broadcast. Now, who have the exclusive rights of showing what the exclusive rights of broadcasting? So that's why it belongs to that person. But they are saying we are broadcasting this to public information. But the original
23, 60, 000. That's a million. I think people needs a variable costs. Ndio variable multiply lakini sasa shida ni kudivide. Sifai kudivide hizi 40,000. Hapo ndio nimekosea. Ndio nilikuwa nawauliza hapo. Lakini sasa tunafanya nini? Kila una maana nimetumia. Ani hiyo kudivide hiyo
10,000. So when you're taking the multiplying now for the variable cost, so it was 100,000. That's like 100,000. So 1,000.
So 75,50.
75,50,000.
Yes, that's the percentage increase.
sawa.
Yeah, 1,000.
So your variable cost ya tree na 40,000 times 100 kama ninafanya.
Yeah,
So ni formula.
yeah, 4 million.
Okay.
Yeah, you know,
14,780,000. 14.
780.
Yeah.
I'm not getting 14,970.
So the by that I mean nitatumia
14.
nitatumia by that I mean nitatumia
5,780. Okay, 780. That's 20. That's okay. 400. That's 1290. 900. 120. 640. 640. 650. 200 times 3.2. 640. Yeah, that's the thank you.
So how do you know about this? Why? Because you don't need to be a test time.
Yeah, pili mmepata 14,000 napata 13.
The cost per unit will be. Don't have this divide by units. 300, so they are 300 units. So they are saying you know the value for so we don't need to discount. Maybe we can go to a few values. Everybody see the structure, no, we do a payment. Oh, you can
So others need villages, they not need villages, but
82,300. Ni sana kwa watu wengi.
Okay. So the answer is what? It's 2,300. So we are in agreement. Okay, stand. What have you gotten? Kwani kuna loud James? They are very many. They are confusing. Benta anapeana that 3,548. Umesema yako imekuja 82,300. I think that should be the correct answer. Even Jude is agreeing with that 3. See, the first year kuna 160 million. Alafu kuna 800 million. Alafu kuna 1.2 million. Kuna 1 million. 1 billion, eh? 1,750. Nikikuja kwa the variable, it is 40,000 times the 100,000 units. So see itakuwa 4 billion. 4 billion. Then ingine itakuwa what? 8.4 billion. 8.4 billion. Then hii ingine ni 650. 650. Na hii ni 1,290. Then hii ukimultiply 4,000 inakuwa what? 400, eh? 400. Na ukimultiply ingine utapata 900 or 900. Alafu the fixed ni 120. Ni 120. Hii ingine ukimultiply inakuja what? 300. 300. Na hii ingine ukimultiply inakuwa 640. Alafu hii ingine ni 180. And 180 as well. Then hii tuko na 200. 900. Na tuko na 500. We ignore the time value of money. So sasa when you add, hii inakuja ngapi? 2360 million. Eh? Then we mwingine 7550. Na huyu mwingine 14,700. Namna hiyo. Okay, so now when you add these three, this plus this plus this, 24, 670, 690. You divide by the number of units. The number of units will be 300,000. So this is the one giving us equal to 300. So Benta and Jude, are you now in agreement? Today you are saying no. Where do you disagree? Where did you get 4 million and not 4 billion? This one. Maybe it's this one, eh? 100 times. It is 100,000 units. It's not 100. It is supposed to be 100,000 times 40,000. Sasa wewe ulitumia 100. Ukuweka hizi 3 zeros. Have you seen that? Yeah, now it should be okay. Should be okay. So if we are okay with that, I want us to attempt another one instead of starting something new. Go to page 60 and 61. in 60 and 61. There is a question that was tested in November 2015 as question number 5A. I want to narrow down on Roman 2. Roman 2 should be Roman 2. Or is a question 3? Question 3. Okay. So we are told to explain the term life cycle, that one we know. Then KIPEV Limited is considering launching a new product, branded KV. The product is estimated to have a life of 3 years. The following costs are estimated to be incurred at different phases of product life cycle, not lifetime. We have the research, design, operating costs, disposal, and the target revenues are there, the present values. So you are told to advise on whether the product should be launched or not. So we are going to approach that question this way. We will have a column of details. And we will have total approach. Total approach. Then we will have periodic approach. Periodic approach. This one now combines the two approaches that we have already seen in the other questions, but with a slight modification, because in the others that were periodic, we did not require to prorate. But this one, we require as we prorate. We require that we prorate. Just a minute. Sasa, what you do, the first thing will be revenue. You bring revenue. In total approach, tuna combine. So add those revenues. Your the paper for information 900 plus 1800 plus 2400. It's 100. But in the periodic, you just give it the way it is provided. The first year has 900. The second year has 1800. And the last year has 2400. 2400. Then you now say less. The first cost that you can see is research costs. Research costs. Now, research cost you can see is given as a single figure of 1500. 1500. Given as 1500. When it comes now here, you need to ask and answer this question. When I incur this cost now, will it be beneficial to me in the subsequent periods to come? Because the cost is incurred once. You see, like the school fees to say umelipa the first month, the first day you join. Will it be beneficial to you in the other months of the semester? So if yes, then you need to prorate. You ujue kila siku unastahili kulipa pesa ngapi ama ingelikaa how much. So that hiyo siku umelipa the 22,000, usiende ukilia sana one day ati umelipa 22,000. But ukigawanya na all the days that are there in the semester, utaona kila siku umelipa tu pesa kidogo. So that's the concept. Maybe that's how simple I can put it. So the question is, hii research cost that may incur now, is it going to be beneficial to us in the years to come? If yes, then we need to prorate it. Now, proration, there are some questions that will tell you the base. This year, I pay what this percent, I pay. But if the question is quiet, come here, we always use revenue. Revenue is the best measure of benefits. So, takuja hapa tuseme, this will be 9 out of 51. Umeelewa hiyo? Times 1500. 9 out of, that's why chini. So hapa ni 1500. Then 9 out of 51 times 1500. Round up or down without decimals. 265. Then ingine itakuwa 18 out of 51 times 1500. Five 29 or that. Okay, 29. Then 24 out of 51 times. Sasa hii uta subtract the others two from 1500. Ndio tuhakikishe exactly they go back to 1500. Seven zero 06. Haya, huyo mwingine ni design. What do you think? Or first of all, design tumepewa 600. Do you think design is beneficial in subsequent periods? Kama venye tulitengeneza hii place tukagawanya. Do you think this design itatusaidia in subsequent years?
Yes.
So 9 out of 51 times 600. One zero six. 18 out of 51 times 600. Two 12. 2 and 2. The last one, eh? 2. Hiyo cost ingine ni operating costs. So operating costs, we can see them, they are already divided by year, and the total is 12. Eh? But kama haungekuwa umegawanyiwa, what do you think? Should we gawanya? In a school like this one, our operating costs include ile mshahara tunalipa watu kama tunalipa. Include stima. Sasa ile bill tulilipa last month ya stima. Inakusaidia this month. And you go to Kenya Power pay last month tulilipa. The workers, can you tell them last month tulilipa mshahara, so hii month usitishe. So those ones are not supposed to be prorated. So tutaweka ni 60 for 20 and for that. So those ones you charge them as they are incurred. Disposal cost ni zile cost una incur at the end of the project. Tuseme kama ni sasa unasoma. Ukishamaliza si utafanya graduation. Ama uioni anyway. Niangalia kama unashangaa. Yes, you should do a graduation ceremony na utuchijie buzi. Yes. Utuchijie buzi, tukuje si tukujwe na tukule na tufurahi. And don't expect to get anything from us. No, you see that's the concept of graduation. It is you celebrating where you decide to incur cost, but because you are also good people, utajua umeincur some cost, tutakupatia zawadi kidogo na. But ideally, it is now part of your cost. Una celebrate that what achievement. It is part of the disposal cost. Ama ushajenga nyumba, unamalizia kabla ya kuingia, si unatuita tuna sherekea kidogo hapa na pale. Yes, those costs that we incur to mark the end of something. It's only that the word disposal ni kama watu wengi wanafikiria inatumika kutupa uchafu, but not really uchafu. It is the cost that we incur to mark the end of something. Yes. So sasa hiyo haitakusaidia miaka ya nyuma, so you just charge here. Hii word, hii method iko na some terms that are not very friendly, because the other words that instead of this one, inastahili kuitwa cradle to grave. Cradle si mahali mtu anakunywa maziwa ya mama, the cradle milk. Ama unasahau science. Cradle milk. Ukifanya science, cradle ni ile ya mwanzo. Ukishazaliwa ile maziwa unakunywa inaitwa cradle milk. Then ukimaliza safari zinaitwa grave. So sasa hii ndio hii. But now we don't keep on using this one, Yeah. So sasa the alternative ya hii, but now bado unaona watu wanafikiria ni ile ya kutupa, Yeah. Okay. Now we need to get the profits. We need to get the profits. Net profit Ya kwanza ni 17. Hizo za subtract. Oh, hii disposal nimeacha. Sorry, it's supposed to also be here. Disposal is also supposed to be here. So ukiweka hiyo itakuwa 28. Disposal is also supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. 169. No. So si utaweka PVIF alafu multiply upate net present value as I receive something from someone. Alafu sasa hizo NPVs are the 3 periods you add. So nimesema ukimaliza hizi tatu, hizi NPV ya net present value, hizi tatu you add them, those three you add them. You hapa chini sasa utakwambia NPV actually ya tugeita present value. Sasa hapo chini tuambie NPV, you add the three of them. Kama ni positive tutawaambia wachukue hiyo product, kama ni negative tutawaambia waachane nayo.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
13, 17.
So you don't divide.
Kwa hiyo tulivdivide ile na tulikuwa so that is it. Nikienda kupitia stick. So
Big. 7 minutes.
Variants kwanza ni rahisi sana. Three variants vilishika na spend. Kuna kitu moja.
So it's positive or negative? So come on, positive, then we advise them the round the product. Okay, sasa hii haiko inahitajika. The examiner requires this one, but now for us to be able to work out some of this, require this. If you add these three, check whether the profit goes back. Is it that? 169. Check whether they take you back to this one. Good. So someone would ask, why now do all this work while you can still confine yourself here and get the same answer? Why do all this while you can still do it that simple and fast? The argument goes like this, or the explanation. I want to illustrate why. So, if you do not prorate, who you 1500, I'm charge what happened. Now you 600 hapa. Yeah, so give me now the new figures. Chukua calculator, but here 900 minus this, minus this, minus this. 15, 6, negative. Hii 1800 minus 420. 13. Hiyo ingine 1908. Now add the three of them, check whether they go back to this. See, they go back. Yes. So the reason as to why management recommends that you use this approach, the EOA unit record what that is because when you do not prorate, you are likely to discourage people taking up the project because the first year will show an outflow, will show a loss, and people do not want to be associated with losses. So ukimwekea hivi, muonyesha the first year atasafa hii loss, ataachana na hiyo project. And people are quick to focus more on this than this. So mtu anaachana nayo. So what you do, unaficha, unaiprorate, unaficha, unamuonyesha, tulikuwa tumepata 169, unamuonyesha atapata profit ya 169 mwaka ya kwanza. Na hiyo miaka ingine bado kuna profit. So ukionyeshwa hiyo project uta make profit, si unaichukua immediately. But sasa ukifika kwa ground, forget about this one. The reality is this. But ushaanza. So you can't go back. Lazima ukae hapo mpaka mwisho. And I told you a good example is hii mambo ya CPA. When you began, yule alikwambia mambo ya CPA, most likely alikwambia 3 years kumaliza. Sema 3 years. Tatuanze. Sasa miaka 3 nilisha. Most likely most of us it's more than 3 years, ndio. Lakini hujaacha, bado unang'ang'ana na utaendelea mpaka malize. Yes. Lakini kama ungeambiwa hii maneno unaongea even 2022 utakuwa certified. Ungesema acha nikafanye kitu. Yes. So that is the rationale. It's also the same thing with Mijengo. Most of us and maybe all of us who will be engaged in that. Umepata tu pesa, umesumbuana na landlord hapa na pale, you think now you can build your own house. So umesave 800,000. Na already maybe unamenunua kawaje. So unaita fundi hapo unamwambia nikitaka kanyumba hapa hii design ikawa pesa ngapi? Jamaa anakuambia ukiwa na 600 hiyo nyumba mpaka umeroof na umeweka milango. Sasa because uko na 800 kwa bank, kesho hali inaanza. Sasa 800 inaisha na hujatoka kwa sasa unatulia, unarudi kwa landlord, make peace, unajikakamua polepole, ukipata tu pesa nyingine unaenda unamwaga mawe polepole tu, unang'ang'ana within 2-3 years you have built yourself a home worth 8 million. A good home. Lakini kama huyu jamaa alikwambia hiyo nyumba ya 8 million, ungesema hiyo I don't belong to that class. So lazima ifichwe somehow, uonyeshwe it is manageable uingie, because tunajua ukishaingia hakuna kutoka. Yeah, that's the rationale behind it. So we stop at that point, we pick up from there.